Hi, and a very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. I'm Greg Parry. I'm a wellbeing specialist. And one of the areas that seems to cause the greatest amount of stress in people's lives, something that I've observed over more than a few years of working with individuals as well as organizations, is the process of change. And it sounds so simple, and most of us would love to feel that we just accept change and take it in our stride. But the fact is that most of us are not really comfortable with the idea, let alone the experience. Maybe it's just, I don't know, an evolutionary artifact from the distant days when we were not comfortable with any kind of change in our environment, because it could spell a danger, a threat to our survival. And it might be an artifact that we've inherited that still survives to this day, because if you introduce major change, most people experience stress. You can see it in things like changing job, moving house, let alone some of the more serious changes that we can encounter during the course of our lives. So how do we deal with this? Well, the first thing is perhaps to accept the change is completely natural. Everything changes. In fact, everything's changing all the time. Nothing is static. Nothing remains the same. We could make this evaluation on the smallest scale, subatomic level, right up to the universe around us. Everything is in motion. Everything is changing. It seems strange that we're not really willing to look at this phenomenon because we find it a little bit disturbing. We want things to stay the same, even though that's not how life works. So one of the things we can do is to learn to accept that change is natural, almost as if we can anticipate that things are going to change. Because I think one of the biggest problems is the uncertainty when things change. We don't know what's going to happen when the pattern moves and shifts and changes. But if you can accept, especially at a deeper emotional level, that change is natural, change is going to happen, you can become a little bit more comfortable with this tide of events. But it's almost inevitable in the course of people's lives. It's also an invitation for us to practice a little bit of mindfulness. You probably knew I was going to say this. But when you become aware of how you're thinking and feeling, and you can challenge the flow of those old familiar thoughts and feelings, you get a chance to introduce something different, something perhaps more positive, something more uplifting. When you can choose, and I'm sure you can, a different, more uplifting, more empowering set of thoughts and feelings, you'll notice the difference immediately. Because the fact is that a lot of things are going to happen in our lives which are inevitable. Why we pretend they're not going to happen is perhaps understandable, because these things can be uncomfortable. But embracing change and knowing that it's a natural part of life can diffuse some of the stress which we associate with some of these events. Some of these things are going to happen because we choose them. Some things are forced upon us. It's just the way life is. If this is an area that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to get in touch with me. I've been working in this area for a long time, so this is not a new subject. Either for me, it's probably not a new subject for you. But learning how to deal with it effectively, that's really important. Remember that simple techniques like learning to unlock that natural defensive posture from your head, neck and shoulders, breathing a little more deeply, relaxing your jaw, allowing yourself to become aware of the flow of your consciousness, distancing yourself from the intensity of those emotions and thoughts so that you can, by choice, introduce the kind of emotional energy that brings a sense of inner peace, inner calm, giving yourself a sense of control in a life where things aren't always predictable. What do you think? If you want to share your thoughts, suggestions, or ideas, well, as you know, my email address is in the description below. In the meantime, with or without the benefit of change, allow me to wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back with you soon.